What is up, and welcome into the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, and I'm joined, as always, by my outstanding co-host. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon Wolverine legend. He's a Grambling State legend. He played second base for the Tigers back in the day. He was all SWAC. He is SWAC. It's Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And we've got our NFL draft analyst. You can catch all his work at NBCSportsChicago.com and the My Teams app. He is Glenn Morgan. He's our GM. And gentlemen, let's get started, man. We've been on a little bit of a break the last couple of weeks, but we are back. And man, a lot of stuff to talk about, man. Lots going on in the last few hours here.
Just a little bit.
We want to start with our good friend that was down in Jackson State.
You have to, man. It's prime time. We got to talk about Prime, Coach Prime.
So yeah, Deion Sanders, former coach at Jackson State University. You know, we spent a lot of time talking about him and what he has done over the last couple of years down there, bringing attention to HBCU football and the SWAC. He has decided to take his talent up
and over
Colorado to become the next head coach for the Colorado Buffaloes. And I'm gonna let, because Smoke, you of course are our grand fam.
Mm-hmm.
You are our SWAC member, man. So I gotta give it to you first. What were your thoughts when you heard the news? Actually, it's been
it's been floating around.
over for the last week now.
Around. Yeah, I was happy for him. I mean, we discussed it a little while ago when he put out there that he will entertain Power 5 offers, and remember we was discussing how would that affect the conference, and I said, it would hurt, but it wouldn't hurt because of Deion. It would hurt because I don't think anyone would step up and fill that void. No diss to Deion. I feel he's came in and done more than enough in his 3 years at Jackson State. He brought attention to the conference. That's all, as a Graham fam, that's all I can ask for, because I can't expect him to do the things he did for Jackson State, for Graham. I can just appreciate the attention that he drew to the conference. But the things he did for Jackson State is crazy. Like the facilities he got them, the type of things he did by, building off the relationships he have to get different type of funding into the program. Man, it was phenomenal, man. And I really feel that he should be applauded and appreciated more for what he did in such a little bit of time. Like he made substantial change at Jackson State in a matter of 3 years. And to me, to get a turf practice field, to get a new locker room, to get new facilities, man, sometimes, man, a lot of that stuff takes years for them to get done. And they completed that stuff in no time for that program. So, man, I applaud them. Now it's about, taking that next step, that next challenge, and I support them. I think it's a very smart move, by the way, going to Colorado in the Pac-12 with UCLA and USC dipping in a couple years. I think it's very smart too. So, initially I was like, I think he could have got better, but when you sit and think, he's got an opportunity to own that conference in no time. So salute to Deion, wish him nothing but the best. Hopefully, the SWAC can find someone that's willing to step up and, try to carry on what he started. I know it's going to be tough because, his charisma, who he is, it means a lot, but if we don't try, what are we going to do? We can't complain if we're going to sit back and just shut up. So that's how I view it. So it's my take on it.
Interesting. Hear what you're saying. You the other HBCU is. You want to save it for last and have me be in the middle?
I can put it out there. Okay. No, you go and then I'll.
Okay. I think he's a fraud. I think he's a charlatan. It's BS what he did. The hell with Deion. Just using people. And as much as I'm joking when I say that, there are a lot of people that probably feel that way. And I think it's hurt feelings. I think it's hurt feelings because sometimes perception, a lot of times perception is far greater than the actual reality of a situation. And I think the reality part you touched on a lot with what you said, B. But perceptively speaking, I think people thought that Deion being there, and not just being there for 1 year, but being there for several years, and then the things that he was doing, and because of him being there, the attention it brought to the HBCUs, but also the influx of other coaches, other people who had some of the same cachet that Deion brought, Eddie George and Hugh. I can't remember Hugh's last name. Hugh Jackson. Yeah, Hugh Jackson. Yeah. Somebody in health, that matter, Mike Zimmer, a Caucasian former head coach being associated with HBCUs. All that attention and all that cachet and Deion doing it and realizing that Deion being there wasn't for the money. He held half of his salary, I think he donated to Jackson State in a lot of ways. So that screams altruism. That screams a mission. And the mission sometimes we see as sacrosanct. It's like it's a calling. And when we buy into that, we believe that this person, this bigger than life entity or personality is going to be there for a little longer, like maybe 7 to 10 years. And then to do more, it seems as though the mission was begun and had started to move, but now he's leaving before it even really can settle in. You got the advent of NIL, so now there's a way for HBCUs to potentially be able to compete with some of the bigger schools. If situation is set up well enough, maybe you can attract some talent. And we saw that happen with Deion. Again, something else that his personality helped open the door and open the window to make that a possibility. But now people are like, oh, okay. So now you just gonna go ahead and leave because the white schools or the mainstream schools or however you want to, classify Division I schools that are not HBCUs. Now they come a call and it's you gonna up and go at the first chance. And not only that, but it's a 1-11 Colorado team. It's not like he's taken over and established. I shouldn't say not established because Colorado's established, but he's not taking over a winning program at this point. So you just go up and go. And it almost seems like a little bit of trauma, like a traumatic thing that we as Black people sometimes see where, okay, you make the money, you leave the neighborhood and you go to the good place now. And now you're going to forget all about it. So you was just here for the money. It's almost like you were just here for the notoriety. You were just here for whatever selfish reasons. Now we see the real you. And that's the perception that I think the people who are going to have toward Deion are those, if it's negative, those are the perceptions people are going to have. And it's weird because it's a fine line in a lot of respects, because what you said, Deion doesn't owe anybody anything. He didn't have to do anything at all. He could have stayed retired and watched his son play wherever and been good. But he did do something. He did begin something. And it is up to other people to take the torch and keep going. But man, wouldn't it have been cool if he just stayed a little bit longer? Wouldn't it be cool if things were a bit more established? Wouldn't it be cool if Deion's there and picked a protege or mentor somebody to follow behind him? All these things that now all of a sudden the trauma comes in. So we're not good enough. We're not good enough for you to stay. We're just good enough for you to use like everybody else. You just want to use us. And that's, that's a tough perception to contend with. So, yeah, and not only that, but you're leaving. You're taking the players that you brought to Jackson State. You're taking like several of them with you. Your son we get, but you got to take everybody else too. So, yeah, man, that stings, and there's gonna be some hurt feelings. And you tie that in with what Eddie Robinson said, Jr. said, like, you ain't SWAC. See, I told you he wasn't SWAC. You believe, and that perception, man, it's gonna be tough. But hey, you're not gonna please everybody. People are not gonna be happy with you.
Yeah, that's true.
And
it sucks.
Right, decisions you make are decisions you make for yourself primarily, and everything else, is the fallout afterwards. So that's kind of how I see it. It's how do I feel about it personally? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, Deion doesn't need the money. I don't think he needs the money. I'm sure he's still doing Aflac commercials. I'm sure he gets paid more in Aflac than he probably does when he was at Jackson State. So, and he's Deion. I'm sure he's got his fingers in other things. I think the message, however, with Deion, this is the last thing I'll say. I think a lot of his message, if you actually listen to it, it still is authentic and it runs through whether you're at Jackson State, Colorado, or any other school. And his mission, as he would tell it, is young men and young women. Yep, yeah. Young men, young women, and other people who are the coaches, other people who want opportunities that they may not have otherwise been afforded. And his personality, his charisma, his light can shine in those areas for those where things were darkened. So I think if that's the case and he stays true to that, ultimately that will be probably his legacy that lives, that may exceed even his Hall of Fame career.
So I'm a Gemini, and
you see two sides.
I'm a typical Gemini. I got split personalities, man. I got mixed feelings about this. Extremely mixed feelings. I think it's awesome that he's going to Colorado.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Part of me, the sane side of me,
the pragmatic side, the logical side, the non-emotional side.
It makes perfect sense. I don't know. I said back, Georgia Tech was the place I was looking for.
Yeah.
Remember that?
That would have made sense to me.
This is even better. This is a program that, back in the day, and I was a little bit of a Colorado fan back in the day, going back to the days when Eric Bieniemy was there, and then later on Cordell Stewart, Michael Westbrook.
I didn't know their history.
Rashawn Salam in the backfield won a Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, being a program that had hired Black coaches, I didn't know their history.
I thought that man, they had the coolest uniforms. If I had I in the mid 90s at my school, I was known for having all the college football jerseys. So I had a Colorado. I think it was a Coy Detmer Colorado jersey back in the day. So I'm a Colorado. I was a Colorado guy. They fell off, and obviously I wasn't a big fan, so I let them go. But it's a perfect place. They won one game this year, so he can come in there. He can build it from the ground up. He can mold this program to the way that he wants to do it. Bring his guys in, and Smoke. You brought up the fact that the Pac-12 is losing USC and UCLA to the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
This can be a quick turnaround.
Yeah,
they can win the Pac-12 in 2 years possibly if they do the right things. Take away all the guys in the portal. They can win the Pac-12 and get a playoff spot in a couple of years. They're moving to 12 teams in 2024, so it makes perfect sense. I get it. I am so happy for them. But then that HU alum side of me is ticked off, and I think that he used this. All right. Remember 2020, he was on the Dan Patrick show at the Super Bowl and said that he was looking for, he was going to get a head coaching job somewhere, right? He interviewed for the Florida State job, and one of the issues they had was that he didn't have a college degree. So what did he do? He went to Talladega College, HBCU, and got that degree. All right. Then he goes to Jackson State, HBCU, and he professes that he's there on a mission to bring awareness to the inequities of HBCU football, and bringing awareness to the sport and getting eyes to it, and trying to generate more revenue streams for HBCUs and Jackson State and the SWAC, and that was the mission, and that's what he was there for. So part of me feels like, okay, you had, a successful run here, whatever the record was. I don't even count the spring season in 2020, but he went 11-2 last season, and they're undefeated, 12-0 going into the Celebration Bowl this year. Great, and so, but now you're taking off. It just doesn't. Part of me, like I said, that just doesn't feel right. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. We were watching the Bears game yesterday, and my guy Issa, he asked me, well, when would have been the right time? And that sort of stumped me, because I'm like, well, every year, I guess, never would have been a right time. But then I was like, you know what? You were able to bring all these 4 and 5-star guys in. Maybe if we were able to see those guys matriculate to the NFL, maybe get some high draft positions, and you could, make the model for, hey, you 5-star, 4-star, 3-star guys can go to HBCUs and still make it to the next level without a problem. It's not going to hurt you because you go to an HBCU. We're getting robbed of that. We're not going to see that now. And so I think that's the one thing that bothers me about this, is that I don't think his mission, the mission I thought that he was on, is finished. And that maybe that's, me being selfish. All right, that's fine. That's just part of me feels that way. Now, going forward, like I said, I like Colorado. I think that program is awesome. And, hopefully in the next couple of years, he gets it right. Maybe I'll go get that Coy Detmer jersey again. I don't know. But just something just irks me just a little bit about it. Just a little bit.
Yeah, and I can understand that. I could. That's kind of how a lot of people that I've talked to have felt.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe me being from Grambling, I didn't really get caught in that so much.
So what you're saying is you're laughing at Jackson State right now. That's what I'm reading.
No.
That's some cold shit, B.
I'm definitely not laughing at it, because, well, you know what? I'm definitely not laughing at Jackson State, because it's been more non-Jackson State people that have felt some type of way. Like, I've caught myself going back and forth with people, and the first thing I asked, like, did you attend Jackson State? They are the ones who rightfully, to me, have the gripe.
Right.
So like I totally get how they would feel. But on the flip side, still, granted, like you say, I would have loved to see a Travis Hunter matriculate.
Right.
And see what happens. I would. But on the flip side, look, he still got you all newer facilities. He still got you all things that still puts you in front of the other teams within the conference. Now, it's on the institution now to bring in a coach that can continue to get guys to the SWAC level. You're likely not going to get another 5-star to come to Jackson State, and you have a regular coach there, like Broderick Fobbs, former Grambling coach. I've heard his name floated around. I hope they don't. Big slap in the face.
I hope they don't go to HBCU retreads for this job now.
I personally would like for them to take Deion's recommendation with whoever TC is. But I mean, hey, he might not have the resume or whatever. But yeah, I totally get where you're
is he the assistant head coach?
I think so.
Yeah. I thought so. my mother-in-law is a Jackson State alumni, and she's heavily involved with the alumni association. I think she had a national office at one point, and so she knows all the ins and outs of what's going on. And so I talked to her last night about it, and she was down. she loves her Jackson State football, but she even got to she gave me some conspiracy theories that are out there, amongst the Jackson State people that I was like, nah, I don't think that's happening.
Wow.
Talking about maybe some word got to him that he needs to leave. They don't want to see HBCUs make a come up. And so just crazy stuff. I was like, no, I don't think that's.
And it's people saying stuff like that, like they never want us to get ahead. But I'm like, on the flip side, when you like what he was able to do within the recruiting market, when he got that 5-star Black America, SWAC America, we should have known this day was coming.
Yeah.
If he was able to do that, you had to know a big school was going to say, "Oh man, he can do that for us."
Right.
It has nothing to do with taking him from the SWAC. This is pro sports. I mean, this is college sports, pro sports, all that. These institutions like pro ownership, they're going to do what benefits them first and foremost.
Right, you have to.
They don't care about all that other stuff. If Deion couldn't benefit them, they wasn't gonna offer him a job. He can benefit them. It has nothing to do with holding the SWAC back. It's all about pushing, in this case, Colorado forward. So that's the thing I want people to understand. But they could care less about what's going on in the SWAC. It's about how he can help them.
I told her they have to hit a home run with the next hire here coming up, because you got to keep the momentum going, and he like you said, man, he has left the program in better shape than it was when he got there, and that's all you can ask for, really, but when he got to Colorado, did you guys see him talk to the team yesterday when he got to Colorado?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys saw the footage of that.
Well, let's pretend some of our listeners, those that are tuned in, did not see it. So Ed,
so I watched the whole 15 minutes.
I did too.
He came in there on fire, and
what stuck out?
Basically told them
better look in that portal.
You might as well go. Well, hold on. Before he left, he had a meeting with the Jackson State players, and he asked them not to go to the portal. He didn't.
He told them have a talk with him.
He said, "Come talk to me first.
Thinking about it, come talk to me."
Because he does. He said that there's some guys that they might think that they're in a better position than they are. He don't want to see them miss out, because the portal it's over 2,000 players in the portal right now. It's crazy. So that's what he told to his guys at Jackson State. He gets to Colorado. He told them, "Hey, you might as well go jump in that portal." Because I'm bringing my dogs. What did he say? He said, "I'm bringing luggage."
I'm bringing luggage and it's Louis. I'm bringing luggage and it's Louis. Look, and I loved it. And that's what you got to do.
Yeah. He opened up the questions to the team. And one of the guys asked, what's the offseason schedule going to look like for us? And he basically, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. He said,
"I'm going to try to make you quit."
I'm trying to make you quit.
Wow. That's crazy.
I was, can you imagine going to that meeting? What do you say coming out of there? I
get to work before I start looking for a portal. One or the other.
Some of them pulled out of the portal. Some of them were already in.
Yeah.
Some of them pulled out.
So I looked up their most recent recruiting classes. They have 2020. They had the number 36 class in the country. which it's not bad, but they could do better. 2021, I think they're 65th, and they didn't even have a 4-star recruit in that class.
How did it drop off so bad? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Did they have some type of scandal or something?
Well, they always have scandals. It's Colorado. They get bored. It was always
nothing. I do remember there was
female issue with inappropriate. I don't know if it was rape or like date rape or something along those lines. And then I think there was like inappropriate conversations or I know it was somehow it was dealing with women and just the treatment of women to a point that they were hiding stuff. I think, right? That was one of the things. There was a couple other stuff too, though, wasn't it?
I remember there being some issues with Boulder police officers, and they had some run-ins with the police there. Yeah,
that too. I want to say grades were involved at one point too. Colorado's had its share. Let's put it that way. Over the last 20, 25 years, ever since McCarthy was there, and Coach McCarthy was there, they had some issues. A lot of the stuff was hidden when McCarthy was there. He was able to keep it under wraps. But once he left, and subsequent coaches, it just seemed like things kind of.
Well, yeah, Rick. I think Rick Neuheisel was there, and then Gary Barnett went back because he was an assistant under McCartney,
right?
Before he went to Northwestern,
right?
And he ended up going back in the early 2000s, and they were still a relevant program at that point. And after Barnett left, that's when everything just went south. But yeah, that's going to be interesting, man. What the relationship between Deion and the remaining players that stay. I know Josh McCown's son entered the portal already. He was a quarterback. He was a young quarterback, so he's gone. But yeah, I'm a rock with him. One thing, Jackson State still has the Celebration Bowl, and Deion is scheduled to coach in that.
And Shador is scheduled to play after he introduced Shador as.
What's the dynamic of that with the guys that aren't going to Colorado? How does that work?
I mean, they gonna play. What they gonna do?
I mean, but it's.
I mean, they ain't got the cachet to say we ain't playing. This is still an experience for them.
Okay,
it's still an experience for them. I mean, if they pissed, it's school 2 hours west.
What colors do they wear?
Black and gold. We will take the leftovers. You feel me?
Oh man!
But in this instance, I was talking to somebody and I told them, I'm like, yeah, it's like you kept saying, it's gonna be big on Jackson to bring in a good hire because I'm like, one thing that the world gotta understand, like, yeah, Deion, he brought that attention to Jackson State. Grambling has been solidified within Black college football. And I don't know if it's been a decade to go by where we haven't won multiple SWAC championships. And so Grambling always has a nick to always find themselves back on the right side of things because of the history of the program. And so if you don't do right by trying to continue to build off what started, you're going to find yourself right back in the bottom, right back down there. Because schools and Grambling got Hugh Jackson too now, so it's going to be crucial on who they hire next.
Absolutely. Let's move on. The college football playoff is set after championship weekend. The number 1 seed in the playoff is the University of Georgia. They beat LSU in the SEC championship game. Michigan is the number 2. They whooped on Purdue and Sorry, Purdue. I put you guys in my parlay, 16.5 points you guys were getting, and you didn't help me out. So thank you. Appreciate that. TCU is number 3. I put the hex on TCU because I took TCU. No. I took Kansas State to win. No. I took no. I took TCU to win in the money line.
Oh, okay.
TCU lost in overtime, but they're still the number 3. And then because of the USC loss in the Pac-12 championship to Utah, Ohio State moves up to number 4, and they make the playoff again. So I think it should be a good playoff. Georgia, Ohio State. I think it's going to be a very good game. Glenn, you're the college football guy. How do you think that game's going?
I think the committee. First off, I think the committee did a good job. There was a lot of moving pieces. There was some chaos down the stretch, and then you had situations where this team beat that team, but that team that beat this team beat the other team that you beat. How badly were you beat, and some injuries, late season injuries, also kind of plays a factor into how well the committee thinks the team will perform if key players are missing. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could look at it. I think with the matchup, I'll say this too. TCU remaining 3, and maybe you were telling me this as TCU remaining 3 makes a lot of sense. I mean, they got to their conference final. They barely lost in overtime to a team that was the second time they were playing.
Right.
So you really shouldn't be punished for that, especially considering what's behind them with two lost teams, Alabama and Tennessee, saying, "What about us?" So later for that. Yeah, look, I'm a Tennessee fan, but we don't deserve to be, and nor does Alabama need to be ahead of Tennessee. But maybe the injury to Hooker might be why they're ahead. But anyway, back to your point and your question. So you've got Georgia facing Ohio State. And I think the committee's like, well, look, this is the championship people thought were going to see, because those teams were 1 and 2. Ohio State losing at home to Michigan. Now we can kind of see, is Ohio State as good as they thought they were? It's a worthy opponent to Georgia because Ohio State has talent pretty much everywhere. And I think seeing Michigan and TCU is kind of like, well, Michigan didn't get a chance to play Cincinnati last year. And maybe if they did, maybe they get to the finals. Maybe playing TCU, Michigan's probably a bit of the favorite. And what we're going to see is if 1 and 2 win, you'll see the top 2 teams play and see if Michigan's any better than what they were. But if Ohio State upsets Georgia, now you get a rematch of Michigan and Ohio State if Michigan beats TCU. So it's a lot of different scenarios. And if it's Ohio State and TCU playing, they go back to the first playoff where Ohio State pushed past TCU to get into the playoffs. And now maybe TCU can get their revenge. So there's a lot of different stories. I see that they can go. Yeah,
that's the reason we have a Big 12 championship now.
Right, exactly.
Because TCU was off that week and then got jumped by Ohio State.
Got jumped by Ohio State,
who won the Big 10 championship. So,
right. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of different stories. I'll say this: I think any one of the 4 teams can win it. I think they're all capable of winning it. Georgia has been consistent and good and haven't lost since 2020 possibly, but they can get got. I mean, we saw a lot of these teams struggle. Georgia barely beat Missouri. I mean, Missouri really had them on the ropes. Michigan really struggled against Illinois. Mm-hmm. Right. Illinois was fading down the stretch. TCU, damn near every week, they was coming back from behind, so they were struggling. And Ohio State, outside of beating Penn State and maybe Notre Dame early on, who did they really play? So there's question marks there. So I think this is probably one of the few years where I think any one of the 4 teams can win it. So it's interesting. That being said, I'm glad in a year, 2024, we're going to see more teams. I prefer if it was 8 instead of 12, but I'm still happy with the playoff expanding a little bit because there are some teams that play better later in the year. Mm-hmm. They're getting healthy or they discovered, who they are and their identity is more has come together more, and they're able to, make a difference. A team like Kansas State might be, dangerous down the stretch. A team like Utah was definitely dangerous down the stretch. And yeah, some people may say, "Oh, it's a three loss team." I'm thinking, like, man, do you know how hard it is to win 10 games? Yeah. It's not easy, So give a little respect, man. I mean, like Ohio State was all like bum. I'm like, y'all 11-1, man. Y'all act like y'all just had like a 5-6 season.
It was just the way they lost.
Right. So y'all act like y'all had a 6-6 season, and you don't know where the program's going. The head coach is like, yeah, I feel like I let everybody down. Like, dude, it's one loss. It's okay.
They're ready to fire him for that one
loss.
Right.
I know, right? It's like, you're good and people like you. Like, look in the mirror. It's okay. You're all right.
Look, man, that kid in Chicago that can't throw, he ain't won since that kid been gone. Just saying.
That's true. That is true.
And a lot of folks, especially early on, was talking about how Stroud is so much better.
No.
Just saying. So
I don't think he's so much better, but that being said, three of these guys are Heisman finalists. Dugan
I was shocked to see Bennett. I was shocked to see Bennett in the mix.
I was a little bit too, but when you see Hendon Hooker kind of fade down the stretch,
I was gonna say, who else you gonna put in there?
I thought they would have put Blake in there. Corum.
I was gonna say one of the running backs. There's some running backs that had some pretty good seasons.
Either him or Bijan Robinson. Yeah.
I mean, it's not the most. It's a little underwhelming Heisman finals. I'll say this.
Because week after week, it was a new front runner.
Right. But we'll see three of these guys play the playoffs, and I don't know if we've seen that often in the past. So it's interesting. College it was a very interesting college year to me. I don't know. It's one of those things where you're going to have to play the game to figure it out. I mean, like Clemson faded, I'll say this: a lot of the usual suspects aren't there. I mean, Ohio State's back in there, but it's not the same. Like they had to creep back in, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia has been more established of late, but TCU and Michigan, I know Michigan was there last year, but it still feels a little different. It doesn't feel like it's no Alabama,
no Clemson, and
right.
Ohio State backing in.
Right. Or Oklahoma backing in, or Oklahoma just being there for fodder, or Notre Dame being there for fodder. It seems, and it seems, I'll say this, it seems like that's going to be that way going forward. Like, I don't see Alabama just necessarily coming back and dominating their way back in there. They've got some, for Alabama, they have some issues. Because Bryce Young's going to leave, and I tell you, he saved them about 3 or 4 times this year. And I don't know if the quarterback behind him has that kind of leadership, when it comes tight. And I think other teams are getting better. And you see what the SEC is doing. All the coaches they've been hiring, Jimbo Fisher, and you got Brian Kelly, and you got Lane Kiffin. I mean, then Oklahoma and Texas will be over soon. So, I mean, the Saban's reign is there's a little bit, there's some cracks there. So, and then with the playoffs, now Alabama doesn't just have to play 1 or 2 games, and be the number 1 seed and play the 4 seed. Now you might have to earn it a little bit more. And so, that's good stuff, because anybody can get got.
I actually look at it different. I see it as you're not going to have to stress all year. You got a little bit of pad in order to make the playoffs. Now, I'm sure you want to get that bye. I think you do. Well,
I mean, but do you? Because now
two losses, you still
of that top 12. I think that's.
But now a lot of teams are going to have 2 losses. So how are your 2 losses compared to the other teams' 2 losses? You know what I mean? There's going to be more teams, but that means more teams don't have to be like what you're saying. You don't have to necessarily be undefeated. You have to be one of the right. 3 or 4. But now you're competing against just 20 other teams that have 2 losses.
I feel better about my 2 SEC losses than I do 2 Pac-12 losses. Yeah.
2 Pac-12.
Yeah.
2 Big 12.
Right.
2 ACC. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, hell, LSU likely would have got in this year with
Right.
damn near four with 4 losses.
Right. So it should be about you brought up Clemson. DJ Ugalele, is that how you pronounce it?
Uyagalele.
Man,
He didn't
the
live
Samoan names, they always get to me. He's in the portal.
Yeah, I figured that, dude. The way that the quarter,
struggled.
he struggled the last 2 years, and the way the quarterback, I apologize, his name is escaping me right now. But the young man who came in and took over, he's not giving that back up. He looked too good. He's not giving that back up.
I don't mean to get off topic, but this game, the fucking Bucks were down 16-3.
They're about to score.
They were down 16-3 with 8 minutes left.
Okay, I want them to score right here because Mike Evans is not on the field. I'm going up against Mike Evans in fantasy. I don't need him to score a touchdown here.
Wow.
Tom Brady legend.
Oh, they called a timeout.
Oh man. What were we talking about though?
Uyagalele.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So he got So did he get? I didn't see the ACC.
He got benched. I know he got benched.
early.
He got benched in one of the games I was watching. I think it might have been like the Syracuse game. He got benched.
Yes, he pulled him.
Yep, he got benched in the Syracuse game.
Why? Syracuse always plays them tough.
They do.
Syracuse should have won the game.
They should have.
And it was because of him that they should have won it.
Right. He definitely helped them out. But he's been struggling his year was when he came in when Lawrence got hurt. That's when he looked really good. And after that, that Notre Dame game, he got exposed last year, and he's just been struggling.
Wow.
He's been struggling since.
Wow, that was a throw.
Yeah,
and
got the guy.
They threw a penalty.
Coming back. Oh man. Okay, please do not go to 13. No, it's gonna happen.
See, that's why you can't watch these things when you got a fantasy game going on. It makes it so painful. It's so difficult to watch.
It works for me right now.
Hey, let's move on to Bears, and Justin Fields had a pretty good day against the Packers in a 28-19 loss. One of his better days outside of the 2 interceptions, which one was not his fault. The first interception, where St. Brown ran a hitch and just waited for the ball to come to him and got undercut. You gotta go back to the ball. You gotta go get the ball.
But wasn't he kind of coming out of his break? It looked like the defender, the DB, just jumped the route to me.
He jumped it, but you still he came out of his breaks. Came out of the break slow.
I think it was a little bit of both. I think EQ did way too many stutter steps to get out of his break.
Okay.
Yes.
But I also think Justin should see that the DB has that read perfectly. So I blame both of them. But hey, it is what it is.
But I think Justin eyeballed him a little bit.
Yeah.
And the defender, watching him most of the game, and I'm sure watching tape on him, knew, okay, he's going right here. He's set, and he made that jump. And yes, Brown could have maybe done a better job of positioning himself so the defender doesn't kind of go through him, so to speak, or pass him through him to pick it off. But the quarterback, I put the majority of that on the quarterback. I put the majority of that on Justin.
No. I say if EQ cuts that route sooner, it's probably a PI.
I'm sorry, Justin can't do no wrong. Okay. If it's a tie,
come on, man, stop.
If it's a tie and fault, I'm going with the other guy.
I didn't fully see it. They said
the right read.
They said Justin kind of hitched, and then still threw it. So I don't know, but yeah, let's go. But
based on the second interception, I'm gonna blame the first one on him because
the second interception was definitely on Justin.
He forced that.
He forced it, and actually he was late on the throw. Yeah. I think had he released the ball, a second earlier, he would have been all right. But so yeah, that's definitely on Justin. I'll give him that one. But outside of those two throws, man, the 56-yard touchdown run, I was actually in the middle of talking about Deion. I was watching with the fellas, and I just went, mid sentence, whoa.
Yeah,
that was an amazing run, man.
Yeah, I think per ESPN stats, I think he's got 3 50-yard touchdown runs in one season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the record games with a rushing TD.
Yeah, I think the record is like 6 50-yard runs, or 6 or 5. He's really close to it. He's at least halfway there. So yeah, I'm sorry. When you said that, it made me think about that stat.
He is special. He is special, and this season, even though we only got 3 wins, we found our quarterback, and so that makes this season somewhat of a success.
This has been wildly one of the most entertaining Bears seasons, probably since the Super Bowl run, with Devin Hester doing what he was doing. And defense being as great. For me, I know I'm a young guy.
No. I'm not saying that.
No, I think you're right.
2018
was a fun year.
Yeah, I'm saying give it 2018. I mean, I'm not a Trubisky fan, but
yeah,
we can't say that.
I could agree. Agree. But I guess it's the fact that we're 3-10.
That's true.
This is the best losing season.
That's
the worst team you've ever seen.
This is crazy. And probably my most enjoyable game to watch. Because the haters are out there. The most enjoyable game to watch was the Jets game. I enjoyed watching that thorough ass whooping that we took, because in the first couple drives, they were out. They were talking. Oh, look, he got over 100 yards passing.
That's right. We haven't talked since then.
Yeah, we haven't talked. He got over 100 some yards passing already. I'm like, man, okay, let's see when that script run out, what's gonna happen.
Remember we were talking about on WhatsApp. I said, dude, just give it a breath. Just give it a breath. Trevor Siemian always looks great the first time he's on somebody's team.
Man, and then that defense settled in.
Yeah, that was it.
It was ugly after that.
All she wrote from that. I'm going back and forth with people on Twitter, people that never respond to my comments, having to comment, because one lady that I follow to track, because she do bets, and so I be tracking her bets, and sometimes I play them. She like, man, Bears never scored that fast. I say, you're lying. I say, man, we've been scoring over 30 plus a game,
right,
with
for
Fields.
A month.
Like you're lying. And she commented, she said, I'm just playing. I'm like, yeah, you gotta be, because we've been scoring points.
I had to get into a Facebook shouting match yesterday. Some clown said that Justin Fields is not the guy. He can't throw the football. Did you not watch the Packers game?
I don't understand that. Like not being able to throw and making bad decisions are not the same thing.
Right.
That's what people have to understand. Not being able to throw and making bad decisions are two totally different things, people. If you want to say the EQ, some people are on the side of bad decisions, some people on the side of EQ messing up. But it wasn't a bad throw. It was a bad decision. Like there are two different things. That man was darting things yesterday, man. Like on the money yesterday.
And the fact that his best receiver is gone. Moody's out.
Yeah.
Claypool got hurt yesterday, right? I think he came back in, but
he came back.
He came back in, but as he was still, a little bit hobbled. Pringle hasn't done nothing. Harry had the nice catch,
right? But that hurt him.
Yeah,
Tell you. His back was like, I don't feel good.
But yeah, he clearly doesn't have the weapons, at receiver that he needs yet. And man, he still was able to throw for 254, and completed 80% of his passes yesterday. What more can you ask? It was. I think
second half play calling was off.
In the third quarter, they got to first and goal, and there was some weird play calls there.
We got a hold.
Well, there was the whole, but there was
went to first and 20.
But there was the Wildcat that got the hold. Why are you doing that? You got Justin Fields. There's no need to go in the Wildcat that situation.
Then when we first and 20, we run a running play, we get no yards.
And then they
run a side pitch.
They ran the pitch right to Montgomery, which was clearly the Packers knew that was coming, because they gobbled that up real quick. And then
third down. Justin threw a third. He got like 10 yards.
No, I thought he threw.
No, he threw like a slant, like a stop route or something.
Okay.
He got like 10 yards, but we had the kick, and that's when Santos. I think he missed.
He missed it.
That's when he missed.
He missed it. So yeah, conservative play calling there, which I don't. There's no need to be conservative at this point. We're not going to the playoffs.
And I get it. You don't want him to run, but the O-line was actually playing well.
Yeah. If he turns the ball over, he turns the ball over. If you lose, you lose. Whatever. Just open it up, man. Let's see what he has the last 4 games of this season. Why not? I mean, we got time next year to worry about wins and having to be conservative, playing for field goals and that sort of thing. Open it up, man. Not saying that Getsey's done a bad job either.
Right.
I like what he's doing, but yeah,
that's next year.
We'll worry about the being conservative next year. Just open up the playbook now. Let's rip it and rip
I think for me, I wanted to see, and I guess we had the opportunity. We were down 20-19. I did want to see us go down and possibly take the lead.
Yeah,
and then we give it back.
I think that's the last piece of this puzzle here. He had a chance late in the Atlanta game and couldn't make it happen. What was before the Atlanta game?
But Detroit,
right.
But he did make it happen, though. See, that's the misconception with Detroit. He did make it happen. He threw the pick six,
right?
Yeah, and then he ran a 60-some yard touchdown,
right.
And then the defense couldn't hold again. So that one, I feel like he did make it happen. He just didn't again. Like the Dolphins game, the missed PI call,
that was another
and the EQ drop.
Right.
I feel like it's been a collective effort for not making these things happen. Justin has his faults.
Right.
And everybody else does. It's been a collective effort. We can go back as far as Minnesota game, right?
Yeah.
But we had a chance late.
Yeah.
BS happened. Washington game had a chance late. BS happened. Dolphins game, Detroit game, Atlanta game, and now Packers game.
So I want to see before the season's over. I think that's the goal. Now, I don't know if you can see it. We got Philly, Detroit.
We got Philly, Buffalo, Detroit,
Minnesota. Yeah.
We gonna blow Minnesota out. They're gonna have probably locked in. I don't know.
They might be playing for it. But remember, it's only one bye now.
Yeah.
So they might be playing for that.
Might be.
You don't think so?
It's possible. I just went,
Okay. All right.
The Dallas Philly game Christmas Eve.
That's gonna be
a huge game. Now, granted, Philly got the tiebreaker with Minnesota anyway.
Right.
but maybe we shock the world next week. Psych.
Nah,
Yeah, I don't think so. Did you see
after the bye?
Interesting thing, Robert Quinn was a healthy scratch yesterday for Philly.
no, he got hurt. I think he hurt his ankle or something
Did
like
he?
that. Yeah, he was injured. He was out because of an injury.
I saw the report said healthy scratch though. That's why I was
Really? I
Yeah.
saw the lower third I saw going by yesterday said out. Like, I don't know if it was an ankle injury or it said injury or something like that. So I was like, oh, well, there you go. You get those older guys.
Guys ain't doing much now that they left us. I mean, look, Sanborn looking like Roquan.
I know, man, right? Sanborn has played very well. I'll give him that. But some of those, I'll tell you what, understated, the linebackers from Wisconsin have done pretty well in the pros. They've got a few of them in there. They've been doing pretty well lately. You don't hear about them as much, but they've been doing pretty good. Sanborn's one of them Wisconsin dudes.
That's money you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, he's been looking good. He's been at them young boys getting the opportunity yesterday. They look bad.
Especially in the secondary, because
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
they didn't look bad. It was the fact that we couldn't get no pressure.
Yeah, that was the big key. Yeah, D line needs a complete overhaul.
Can't ask them guys to hold for 30 seconds. But they were playing well, man. The secondary was playing well.
Yeah.
Like it was just, it's like, damn, you want to win, but you know the benefits of not winning.
Right.
And it's swear, y'all know I'm the conspiracy theorist. It just looked like, I'll say for the last 3 weeks, well, excluding the Jets game, the last 3 Justin Fields games, we have gotten sizable leads in all 3 games, and then just crazy stuff happened.
So are you saying that they're calling down from upstairs? Hey,
oh man, something weird's going on. That's all.
We need to protect this pick.
We get Detroit. We up 24-10. We get an interception, and they call hands to the face, and then they score, and then the next possession, pick 6, tie ball game in less than a minute. It's a tie ball game. Atlanta, we up 17-10. No, 17-3. After a Cordell Patterson fumble. What do? We kick return for a touchdown. It's like, come on, man. What are you doing? It's like we can never just keep foots on the neck. We're going to allow them to do something, or the referee is going to allow something to happen that's going to keep them in the game. It's weird. That's all I'm going to say. It's been weird. Hey, and I get it.
By the way, shout out to Bears fans. I was at the Atlanta game. Man,
my mom was there. My whole family was there.
Man, it was all Bears fans, man. It was crazy. All you saw was blue and orange throughout the entire stadium. I saw one Falcon fan was like, I've never seen it like this. It's just so many Bears fans. Man, we packed that place, man. It was Soldier Field South without a doubt, but didn't get the win. But yeah, it was a good time though, man.
Man,
out there,
crazy. The wife, she can't hold water to save her life. She gave me part of my Christmas gifts, and so I'll be going to my first ever Bears game Christmas Eve.
Oh, good stuff.
To see our brains get beat in by the Bills.
Oh, man, that's good stuff.
I told her,
man.
like, man, we should have tried to see the Philly tickets, because I don't know if Justin may survive that one. Then he might not play the Bills game.
Oh, you never know, man. Sometimes they play down at their competition.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, so I'm excited.
Hopefully it's not too cold. Hopefully it's not too cold for you.
Yeah. I'll say this right quick. I don't know if y'all paid attention. The last 2 years, the Bears have played the Super Bowl winning team.
Shit, we beat the Bucks the year they won it.
Right.
What was the other one? The Rams?
The Rams. We opened with the Rams.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
And the Bengals. With the Rams and the Bengals.
We beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
Hold on. And that year, didn't we play? We didn't play the Chiefs the same year we played the Bucks, did we?
Did we? That was the year the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
That was we did.
Right. Yeah.
That was the year the 1, 2 when Mahomes was doing the counting.
Yeah.
We did.
and we've already played. We play Philly.
We play Philly. We play Dallas
and San Francisco, but I think losing Garoppolo may cut that into that.
Yeah,
but that defense, man, woo,
they're good.
They're really good.
San Francisco, that they gotta go get somebody, man.
They might get Baker Mayfield.
Go get Baker.
I don't think he's gonna drop because I think they're 25th on the waiver wire.
Who else gonna pick him up?
Somebody might pick him up just to pick him up.
Just the spite.
Yeah, 25. That's a lot, man.
Dude, OBJ was more needed than Baker Mayfield. He dropped.
Right. Baker gonna drop to them.
Saying. But no, this man, the 49ers.
Now what'll be interesting is gotta hope Christian McCaffrey speak highly of.
Yeah.
He wasn't there that long, was he?
But they didn't like him.
McCaffrey didn't like Baker.
Them players didn't like Baker.
This has shades of 2011 Bears. Remember when the Bears got to 7-3, but Cutler broke his thumb, and they they had to put Caleb Haney in, and they played the AFC West, the bad AFC West, when they lost to Tim Tebow and the Broncos on the Marion Barber play.
Mm-hmm.
Then they lost to a bad Raiders team. And then they lost to a bad Chiefs team at home. And ended up I think they finished the season 8-8. And that was I always thought that was the Super Bowl year for the Bears. Hopefully that doesn't happen for San Francisco, man. Like that not having a quarterback is what does them in, because they got the defense and they got the weapons around them on offense.
I want to see, because I get tired of watching TV, and I mean, I get it. Jimmy Garoppolo ain't the most electric quarterback, but something got to be said about that record for Kyle Shanahan with versus without Jimmy G. Yeah. So this is everyone in the media love to give all the credit to Shanahan. It's Jimmy G just benefits. So plug and play then. Plug and play. Let's see. Because you're 9-29 without him.
Yeah, that's weird.
And you're 38-17 with him. That's inexplainable. Like that's crazy. So let's see. The time is now. You got a defense that is unreal right now. Well, could we see another Trent Dilfer situation?
It's possible, but
they ain't that good, huh? They ain't Ravens. They ain't 2000 Ravens good.
I think the champion this year will be the team that's, it's a battle of attrition, man. And the Cowboys are getting healthy at the right time. Cowboys might just sneak in there, dude.
I actually want, for some odd reason this year, I'm not going to say some odd reason, because of Shady McCoy. He's the reason I'm rooting for the Cowboys.
Has he talked bad about him?
Because I can't stand dude. And I actually love Jalen Hurts.
Right.
But he's so much of a homer, and then he hates on so many people. I can't wait to see the Eagles fall. And I hate to say it, because like I said, I love Jalen Hurts. I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. But but Shady needs to be humble. And it will kill him if the Cowboys was to win. And as much as I can't stand Cowboys fans, I can't stand Shady more. I'd rather listen to Cowboys fans than Shady McCoy. I tell you that. So, but they look dangerous though. Cowboys look dangerous. But the Eagles do too. Shit.
That fourth quarter against Indianapolis, that was something else. That was definitely something else. That was dominance. And the fact that the Colts suck.
I had the game on, and it was like every time I looked up, another turnover. God damn, what's going on?
Like I said, I'm going against the Cowboys in fantasy. That got a little scary there, man. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Hey, let's move on to Bulls real quick. They've had a rough West Coast swing here, and really just a rough inconsistent season. You know,
Yes,
they go and they beat the Bucks, on the road, and then go to Sacramento and get blown out by Sacramento. I don't get this team. Is Lonzo Ball that important to this team? Because this time last year, the Bulls were the number 1 seed in the East.
I guess so. I mean, it appears that way. I mean, his defense is something that helps them get on the fast break sooner. It puts everybody back in their better and more natural, organic playing position. As has been mentioned ad nauseum, he's a pretty good floor general. So you don't have DeMar dominating the ball, and the offense can flow a little bit better. I think his presence puts everybody back in the spots that they're, we're supposed to be in. And right now we have a team for the last year and a half, basically has been playing out of position. I mean, they're good enough to get by, but I think it's caught up to them. And until, whether it's Ball or somebody else, until they get more continuity at the leadership on the court, they're going to be inconsistent.
So I opened up. We talked earlier right before this podcast. The Bulls, in theory, have 3 All-Stars with Zach, DeRozan, and Vooch. Vooch has been an All-Star.
GM says 2, S says 3
with Orlando.
With Orlando, but I'm
gonna make a
was
poll.
Was he an All-Star the year that he got traded here?
I think he
don't
was.
remember.
I think he was.
I think he was that year.
I think he was that year.
Well, isn't it like baseball? Somebody from every team has to be represented.
No, it's not in the NBA. Can't give me that one.
I know it's not. I just wanted to try to find a way to prove it. But man, come on, he's like the only center. So why he did? He's like the tallest tallest small person. it's like
right to the GM.
Outside of Embiid, there's no other like really true center in the East.
All right, so I looked it up right here. Now this is a little, like you said, Vooch hasn't been an All-Star with the Bulls, so
thank you.
It's a little off. But teams with 3 or more All-Stars, all right, the 62 Celtics, the 75 Celtics. I think the 75 Celtics were pretty good. I know the Warriors won the title that year. 83 Sixers, they won a championship. 98 Lakers were a playoff team. I think they got to the Western Conference Finals that year. 2006 Detroit Pistons had 4. They didn't win it that year, but they were a playoff team. The 2011 Boston Celtics.
Conference Finals?
That's
no. Yeah.
Did they lose to the Lakers?
Finals that year. No, okay. They lost to the Heat that year.
Wait, the Heat got to the finals in 2011? Oh, yeah. That's LeBron and company.
That's was that the first year?
Yeah, that's the first year. Yeah,
because then we lost to them in 2012, right?
Well, no, they lost. They lost conference semifinals because the Bulls played them in the conference finals. Played the Heat in the conference finals.
Okay, I knew they played each other.
That's right. 2015 Atlanta Hawks. I think that was a 60-win team. And in 2017, 2018 Warriors were both good teams. At least 3 All-Stars. The Bulls have what are supposed to be 3 All-Stars, and they're freaking 12th in the Eastern Conference. That makes no sense to me. No sense at all.
Yeah, I think I'm to the point of saying this new regime is just as bad as.
Are they that bad? They're
guard packs? I don't think they're guard packs.
I mean, you extend the coach. What changes are we about to make?
What was? Yeah, that's a good question.
What changes are we going to make? What changes? What changes do they see fit to make? You extended the coach because to me, he's the biggest reason Patrick Williams haven't developed.
Well, we saw as soon as that sign, we didn't know about it, but once we found out about it, it was some pretty significant wins, against some top tier teams.
Yeah, and they thought it was a good time to go and tell us. And then the losing followed right again after.
Yeah, I mean, P. Will is not developed. You are correct.
Like
he's getting better.
He's had moments this year that he hasn't had in the prior seasons. He has, but to me, we don't run any offensive sets to get him going. Like granted, I can openly say this year, I have not really been into NBA basketball. I turned on the Bulls game when they played the Jazz, and I turned it off in like 5 minutes. I'm not really into basketball this year. Something about going on right now that has been throwing me off with NBA. But
it's not the fact that it's early.
Right.
Well, last year I was 100% locked in though. I don't know.
Was that because there was excitement with the Bulls team?
It's because there's excitement with the Bears team. He's talking about Justin. He just spilled over to the Bulls.
I actually think that's it. I do. I actually think that's it. I find myself on YouTube all day trying to find Bears clips on different sports shows and different Bears podcasts. I legit think that's the reason, but I didn't think that. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. But then we had the week where he didn't play, where Justin didn't play, and I still was watching I was still eager to hear what was said. So that legit might be it. But even just on the outside looking in, man, we're in bad shape.
Why is that?
Because you're 12th in the East right now.
It's early. It's not even Christmas yet. Stop.
I mean, I don't doubt that they can turn it around and make a play in or maybe even be a 6 seed, but that's it.
Well, sure, that can happen, but I think that's the ceiling.
That's the ceiling,
and that's a problem. All right. If the 6 is your ceiling, and that's as far as we're going to get, scrap it, start over.
Oh man, it's so easy to say and so hard to do, though.
It's bad to see that teams that were almost as good, if not better, have improved, and we haven't.
Right.
By the end of last season, we all said the Cleveland Cavaliers were neck and neck with the Bulls. They made moves in the offseason. They got better.
They got much better.
We did nothing but sign Zach.
That's true.
We did nothing but sign Zach. We
brought in Drummond and Gore.
We brought in.
And I will say, Dragic has played pretty well.
He has.
He's definitely been a surprise.
Yeah, it's.
But I
had high hopes for this regime, and they have been killing me softly so far. Still early.
Zach is still playing himself into shape. I mean,
NBA is a lot different than other sports when it comes to money and free agency, and people really like having to like you type stuff. NBA is weird, but it's early, so we'll see. We'll see. But yeah.
By the way, looking at this, the Sixers are 12-12. They are the 7th spot. Toronto, Miami, and Washington are above the Bulls right now.
Miami way down here?
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is I haven't been watching.
I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm like, man. Well, maybe things are just down for everybody.
Wow, the best of the best teams are really balling. That's what it is. Like Boston, and we beat Boston.
We beat Boston. We beat Boston.
Twice.
We beat the Bucks.
Beat Boston twice this year.
Indiana's in the fifth spot. We beat Indiana, didn't we?
This was weird. Like last year, we were beating the bums and couldn't beat the good teams.
Yeah.
Early on.
So all right, it's early. I'll give you that. But
Thank you. Just give it a moment. Give it a beat.
I don't feel good about this team. I'll tell you that.
Understood.
That's all I can say. Hey, let's move on to picks. It's been a while.
It's been a long while. What were the last picks we had?
So, according to my notes here, all right, that was week 11 of the NFL season. I went 1-1-1.
Interesting.
I think I went 2-on-1.
2-on-1 smoke.
I did. Yeah.
And Glenn, you were 2-1. So I had a push with the Bears.
That's why I pushed with.
The Vikings got blown out by the Cowboys that week. I had them at +1. And then the Commanders, they covered. They were given 3 to whoever. I forget who they were playing that week. So I'm in last place at 10-20-3. Smoke, you're in second with 15-16-2. And Glenn, you're a cool 18-15 now.
Yeah, I'm 15-16-2. You said
15-16-2. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on here. What are we going into now? Week. Lord. What's this? 13? Week 13 of the NFL season?
Going into week 14. I'm sorry, we're in week 13 right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, this is 13. Yeah, this is 13 coming up.
Week 13 coming because the Bears is by week 13.
Right.
No, we're in week 13 right now.
Well, yeah, that the picks we're making is week 13, is what you're saying?
No, you're right. Glenn, you're right. It's just week 14.
We're going into week 14.
We're going into week 14.
Yeah.
Glenn's
shit. We're currently it says it right here on the app I'm looking at.
He's right. We can't take 2 weeks off again. All right, so I'm going to take Houston is getting 17 against the Cowboys. So I'm going to take the Texans.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm going to take the Jets. They're getting 9.5 over the Bills.
Damn. Man, he's just taking everything. Right. Oh, my God.
And no, you're going to like this one. The Jets, the Eagles are giving the Giants 7. I'm going to take the Eagles over the Giants. So Texans, Jets, Eagles.
No, you got to pick a whole new set of teams now. You done tainted them.
It happens. Yeah, poor TCU, by the way, last week.
I'm gonna go Tennessee -3.5 over Jacksonville.
You believer in those Titans, huh?
I'm going to go. Every time I do this, they kill me, but they should. This might shock. No, it ain't. I'm gonna go Chiefs -9 over Denver, and I'm also going to go Texans +17.
Wow. It didn't scare you off of that, huh?
No, because he almost made me flip. He almost made me flip it and do Dallas -17. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not about to fall in that trap. If they win by more than 17, good for them. I'll take that in. But
Glenn, who you got, man?
Well, I just had to go oppo you. I figure I got a better chance. I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Okay.
Minus 17 at home against the Texans. I know that's a lot, but
so
that's
man,
a lot of that's a lot of points in the NFL, man.
Yeah, but Houston is that bad.
They are, but I think they've been covering. They cover
up
most
until
of the
recently.
time,
Yeah. Look, they're playing for a number one pick in the draft, so I think they're not trying to be motivated enough to win.
Yeah, they gave up 3 defensive scores.
Yeah, in like a heartbeat. So
shit.
And Dallas is all about opportunistic scoring.
Damn it. But I'm gonna keep it.
I'm going to take the Jets plus 9.5. It does seem like that's a lot of points.
That is,
especially the way the Jets have been playing, the way Buffalo's been playing. Of course, it'll be some freak blizzard, and then Buffalo end up winning by like 20. And I'm going to take the Browns, the Deshaun Watson Cleveland Browns,
back
plus 6 in the Battle of Ohio against the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Bengals, they're that team that after a real big win, whether it's Baltimore or the Chiefs, sometimes just when you think they're about to start doing the rising, the crest of the wave of victory, they turn around and have a bad loss. And I see this being a bad loss for the Bengals. I think the Browns win it outright.
All right. Cowboys, Jets, Browns for you. All right. Good luck. Good luck. What's up with the Broncos, by the way?
Dude, that is one of the most dysfunctional, weird ass, I don't understand what the problem is situation that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
The greatest bullet we've ever dodged is what I see.
Yeah,
that was never Russell Wilson to the Bears was never gonna happen.
Hey, well, I'm glad it didn't happen. That's all I'm gonna say. Because good Lord, it's weird. Gino looking like
Russell, looking great, yeah,
and
really
Russell looking like Gino.
It's like they had like a body switch or something. Something crazy.
System?
I don't know. Hey, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I want to thank everyone for listening. We greatly appreciate it. By the way, Glenn.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff on Unfiltered with David Kaplan.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, sir.
That was
Thanks,
outstanding.
Bro.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much, fellas.
You can catch our podcast at Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can also catch us at hp53productions.com. There you'll find a link to our podcast, as well as the Father Good podcast, hosted by Marshall Givens and Kenny Stevenson, and the Super Duper podcast, hosted by Rob Griggs. Yo, Glenn.
Hey.
Please take us out.
Like we always say, we ain't saying we're right, but just like Deion Sanders, we don't think we're wrong, baby.
Must be the money.
I'm coming with my luggage and it's Louis. I gotta use that, man. We catch you next week.